Hi everyone, here is my dish for Iraqi fasolia or white bean stew. It's easy to make, quick, and very tasty. Hi everyone, so here are the ingredients you're going to need to make Iraqi bean stew or fasolia. The main component is the lamb chops here. I've got 5 pieces. Of course, you could also make this recipe vegetarian by omitting this, but for this recipe, I'm going to be using lamb chops. I've got a can of cannellini beans. Now, they're also called white kidney beans, or I've heard them called navy beans as well. Ideally, you want the dry stuff, and then it's soaked overnight. But for the sake of convenience, and I mean, not a lot of people have the time to do that, I just use a can of cannellini beans. Right? Gonna need 2 onions. Gonna need some tomato puree. And over here, I've got the spices that you're going to need. Again, much simpler than my previous recipe. I've just got 3 bay leaves here. I've got some ground cumin. I've got some smoked paprika. And I've got some black peppercorns. And some salt, obviously. Now, the paprika and the cumin, they're completely optional. Most traditional recipes do not use them. I like to use them because it adds a bit more depth and flavor into it. So yeah, that's completely up to you. And quite a bit of water, just for the sake of this. I've got this right here. So the first step you want to do is prepare your meat. So what I'm going to do, I want to really try to brown the meat first before I'm stewing it. The reason why you want to brown it is 1, it adds a much more complex flavor. But 2, it's also for the sake of the oil as well. You want to get a bit of that aroma from the lamb. So I'm just going to add them in like so. And you can see it's immediately frying, which is perfect. Because to get a good Maillard reaction, which is the name for when the meat browns, you really need like a hot pan and oil in there. So we've got that going there. Let me just grab a spatula. Just like that. That's exactly what you want. Really try to get it brown it. Now, I don't want to cook it again. I just want to brown the outside of this. That's all I'm doing here. So we'll just give it like maybe a minute on this side. And then that's about it. I mean, while this is happening as well, you can get your rice soaked. So ideally you want to soak it, you want to wash it. I usually wash it. And then I soak it for about half an hour to an hour. And that's, again, just to get rid of the starchiness from this. And again, if you had your beans dry in the dry form, then obviously you start to drain them. But I'm using cans, so it'll be fine. So right now, let's see. See how it's like browning here? That's exactly what we're looking for. I'm going to give them a bit more time though. Like so. Increase the heat a little bit as well, if need be. Really start to get that going. You really want to get that browned up. And then once you brown both sides, you're going to fill it with water. I'm going to, for this recipe, I'm also going to use the water that the lamb has been boiled in, again, for flavor. Some people do that, some people don't do that. They don't like, I guess, the gamey flavor of lamb. So if you don't want to do that, that's completely fine. You can use fresh water, but why would you waste that flavorful flavor that's coming, the broth from the lamb? So let me just double check what this side looks like. Yeah, see that browning there? That's exactly what we're looking for. Perfect. So I'm just gonna flip these now. Ooh. Perfect. Right, it's been about an hour, I would say, that the meat is boiling. So if you remember, I did put bay leaves. I also added some dried, I added some of these, where are they there? I added some of these, again, just to sort of, I guess you could say, make it a little bit spicier. So anyways, so around this time now, you can get the other ingredients ready. So over here, as you can see, I've diced one of the onions. I'm going to do the other one now. Throw it right into this pan that I've had oil. Just getting it up to temperature. Throw that in there like so. Perfect. Give it a mix. Just the temperature. So here we're just trying to get the bitterness out of the onions. That's about it. Because obviously at the end that's going to get transferred here. So actually what I might also do, since I'm here, I'm going to put salt in these, and that's just to sweat out the moisture from the onions here. But I'm also going to add a bit to the stew as well. Now I'm just putting in about a teaspoon here and maybe like a teaspoon and a half in this one here. I'm doing this all by eye, but obviously you can just sort of, you know, use a measurement thing, whatever it's called. Right, and don't be afraid to top out with more water if you feel like it needs it as well. So again, I'm just mixing away here, really just trying to get that sorted. While that's happening as well, I might as well just add the other spices in. So I'm going to put in some cumin now. Again, probably just about a teaspoon's worth, there and abouts. Again, these are like the optional spices, so if you don't have them or you'd rather just not use them, then yeah, go ahead. That's fine, I'm just using it. The peppercorns I'm going to leave until the last, just like I'm going to put into the stew, because peppercorns tend to burn quite easily. So I'm just going to sort of let that go for a few more minutes, just waft out the, I guess you could say, the flavor. Right, and this is what brings this dish completely together as well. So this here is tomato puree. We're going to use quite a bit of this, to be fair. Just give this another mix. We want like maybe 3 to 4 tablespoons, probably closer to 4 tablespoons worth of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a bit more oil into the onions. Just a little bit, like so. Then just gonna open this now, pop it open like so. And then, so the way I like to do it, see here they have a little bendy bit, you're just gonna press that through. Don't make a mess like I just did right now as well. So just press. And you're aiming for that sort of 3 to 4 tablespoons worth, so quite a bit. And that's gonna bring this whole dish together, because it needs to have that bit of tomato flavor. So I'd say that's about enough, probably. So what we're doing here now, some people just throw it directly into the stew. I'm not doing that. I'm frying it first, and again, it's for the sake of flavor and aroma. You want to really bring everything out completely here. Because when you tend to fry and toast, I guess, your spices or your onions in this case, it really develops those sort of complex flavors that usually you do not find if you just were to say, just throw into a stew directly. So we'll give that some time to go. While that's happening, let's open this. Right, so I've got my beans here. And now we're going to bring everything together. So I think this has been going on for like maybe 3-4 minutes or so. I'd say it's about ready. So we're going to open that up. There we go. We're just going to chuck that in there. Make sure you don't get it on you either. It's really bad if you do. Right. Bring up to temperature. And now, because these canned ones are already in water, I'm actually going to use it. Now, I kind of want to use a bit of the bean water, because the reason why, the bean water's got some of that protein from the beans, which actually helps thickens the sauce. So I'm not going to use all of it. I mean, let's see. We're just going to... Actually, you know what? For this sort of can, I would say it's okay to use all of it. That's alright. That's completely fine, to be honest. Right? So... there we go, we got all that sorted. And then I would probably maybe just add maybe half a can's worth of water, so let me just, there we go. There and abouts. Yeah, that looks good to me. Bring that up to temperature. And we're gonna let this go for about half an hour, I would say. At this rate, we're gonna simmer it for half an hour. At this rate, you can actually just put some grounded black pepper in there as well, by the way. So, free to do that. Why is this not working? There we go, that's why. So, let's say 1.5 teaspoons of this stuff, maybe. There we go. And yeah, so we're gonna let this simmer now for half an hour, and we'll be back. There it is. I did add an extra can, by the way, of beans, just due to the amount of water I put in. So if you feel like you want a bit more beans, go for it. That's fine. Look at that. Amazing. The smell coming from this is honestly. And then here we got a bit of lamb chop there. Perfect. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and as always, thank you very much, and all your feedback is appreciated.